Well, Tess Ingram is UNICEF's communications manager for the Middle East and North Africa. She joins us from al-Mawasi in Gaza. Good to have you with us, Tess. So our correspondent there talking about how supplies are just scratching the surface of food needs. How critical is that service, particularly for families who've returned way up north of Gaza?
I spent a good part of this week, Sammy, up in that area talking to families who made the journey after the ceasefire back to their homes. And of course, in many cases, particularly east and north of Gaza City, they're met with destruction. And it's not just the destruction of people's homes, it's also the destruction of the systems that sustain life around communities, like food systems. So we really need to make sure that the humanitarian aid is coming in at scale and that it's not just reaching the south, but it's also getting up there to the north of the Gaza Strip, where families are in such desperate need for food, but also water.
And Tess, I'm glad you mentioned the point of destruction of systems. Does anyone have a plan at this point that's been actually implemented to try and resuscitate Gaza's ability to grow and produce some of its own food? Or is the plan just to keep an entire population at the mercy of food aid and Israeli border controls and how much they feel like letting in for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, no, we have to tackle this from all fronts. We have to make sure that the aid is coming in at scale, but aid alone can't sustain a population of 2 million people. That's never the intention. So we also need to make sure that commercial goods come in. And then, as you say, that the systems that sustain life here are resuscitated, that fishermen can go back out again and catch fish for the population, and that agriculture can be revitalised, livestock returns. Actually, just this evening, I was driving from Deir al-Balah to Mawasi, and I saw land being turned in expectation, I hope, that they're going to plant there, and it was surrounded by other areas where there are green shoots coming back. So that work is underway, but of course, systems take time to rebuild, and in the meantime, we need to make sure that we supplement that with aid and commercial goods that are nutritious, not just processed foods, but fruits, vegetables, proteins, eggs, dairy.
And that stuff needs, no doubt, quick, easy access in and out when it comes to perishables like that. The UN has been calling on Israel to open more crossings. We've heard that call repeatedly. And I'm wondering, have you received any response from Israeli authorities? And if so, what do they say to the UN agencies who are saying just open more crossings quickly?
We're being told that crossings will open. It's not clear which crossings, when that will happen. We're just going to have to wait and see. We are adamant that this has to happen because we know that in order to scale up, we need more than one access point. We need many. And we're not asking for something that's unreasonable. We're asking for something that we've done before. We have used multiple crossings into the Gaza Strip. We have got hundreds of trucks in every single day. And the stakes are really high, Sammy, because, we've talked about food, but we haven't talked about malnutrition. And there are 28,000 children who were diagnosed with malnutrition in July and August alone, and thousands more since then. So we need to make sure that it's not just food coming in, but malnutrition treatments as well. And that's where UNICEF is focused on, getting these treatments in to stop children from starving to death.
Now, it's a bleak number, isn't it? 28,000 children diagnosed with malnutrition. At the same time, just a few days ago, we heard that Israel had sent a letter to the United Nations informing them that it's going to withhold half of the aid it's agreed to allow into Gaza over the pace of the release of the bodies of captives. They don't feel that these bodies are being handed over quick enough. Is it legal to use the humanitarian needs of an entire population as political and military leverage and bargaining?
No. There is a legal obligation to facilitate aid under international humanitarian law. And we've been clear throughout this conflict that aid should not be used as a bargaining chip. But throughout this crisis over the last 2 years, we have consistently seen aid restricted. We've seen aid completely prevented at certain points in time, as have commercial goods. We've seen the United Nations, the experts in providing this sort of response, sidelined. So there's been so many so many things that shouldn't have happened here. And now we have a ceasefire, which is what the international community wanted, and it's what we wanted. This is our opportunity to overcome all of that, to turn it right. And that is why Israel has to open all of the border crossings now, and they have to let aid into the Gaza Strip at scale alongside commercial goods and make sure that it doesn't just stop at the crossings, but that we have the operating conditions on the ground to get that aid to the families who are the most vulnerable.
All right, thanks so much. Good to talk to you. Tess Ingram there, UNICEF spokesperson.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.